Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you came to service today, and we'll all just hope that the snow really does hold off until 3 or 4 o'clock today. It's a joy to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Harford County. I'm Kimberly Roberts, and my pronouns are she and her. Leading the service with me today is Worship Associate Laura Poligo, and then behind me we have Jesu Henry, Sarah Brinkerhoff, Bill Hoffer, and Bess Hutt. So a full house.
I'm Laura Poligo. My pronouns are she and her. I'd like to extend a special welcome to newcomers, especially those who are here for the first time.
Unitarian Universalism is a tradition that values diversity and embraces the wisdom of all faiths. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's mystery and meaning. Whatever the faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here.
Whatever your race or where you were born, whatever your immigration status or country of origin, you're welcome here. Whoever you are and whatever your gender, whomever you love, you are welcome here.
We gather in community to restore the balance of our spirits and to celebrate the joys of life and find the strength to meet our sorrows, and in the earliest meaning of the word worship, to consider ideas that are worthy of our time and attention.
In this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike.
This morning, the service is going to be a little different. It tells 8 stories from our Unitarian Universalist and UU histories. Stories about how ordinary people showed up in very different ways and in particular contexts to side with love and show up for justice. We are going to be talking about some tough topics, including slavery, violence, and reproductive justice that may not be appropriate for all ages. We do have a room for our youth out in the hall if you feel that that's where you need to be.
And now the sound of the bell and the music of the prelude help us center ourselves as we enter into a time of worship.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all that we love. We rest in this love.
Our Unitarian Universalist faith has grown from seeds planted by our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors. From them, we've inherited a legacy of courage and compassion, finding new ways to live our values.
The following are the words of Reverend Elizabeth Wynne. As Unitarian Universalists, our journey is to transform the big and the small, to transform ourselves and to transform the world. Universalism means no one is outside the circle of love, and no one is disposable. Let us read response number 1 in unison.
It's in your order of service, but not in the right place. So look down for the responsive invocation, and you'll see the responses. So it's right on the screen now. So let's read this together. No
one is outside the circle of love, and no one is disposable.
We stubbornly seek out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what. Interdependence means none of us is truly free until we are all free, and our thriving is bound up in Earth's thriving. Let's read the second response in unison. None of us is truly free until we are all free.
We struggle for liberation from the violence of white supremacy, sexism, ableism, classism, and homophobia. Our covenants mean we make promises to our communities to honor love and justice above all. Let us now read response number 3 in unison. We make promises to honor love and justice above all else.
So to begin our first story, let's remember one of our beliefs. No one is outside the circle of love, and no one is disposable. In September 1938, Nazi Germany invaded northern Czechoslovakia. Thousands of refugees, Jews and others fearing Nazi occupation, fled south, many ending up in Prague.
In January 1939, the Reverend Witzel Sharp and his wife Martha could have turned down the request from the American Unitarian Association to leave their children and home and head to Prague to aid persecuted people. An isolationist America was not yet at war and reluctant to open its doors to refugees. 17 others had declined the mission, but the Sharps said yes. Just weeks after their initial arrival in Czechoslovakia, the couple watched Hitler's troops march into Prague. They were shadowed by Gestapo agents. Their offices were ransacked, and they had to burn files to protect the refugees' identities. The young couple narrowly escaped arrest by returning home in August.
A year later, the Sharps returned to a second mission. They secured a trainload of condensed milk in great demand to feed refugee babies in southern France. Working with various aid networks, the Sharps rescued an estimated 125 people, Jews, political dissidents, and others under the threat of fascist armies as they spread across Europe. They also helped get food and other assistance to hundreds more in urgent need.
We begin our second story by remembering another one of our beliefs. We make promises to honor love and justice above all else.
By the mid-1940s, the strength of Nazi Germany had grown, taking severe tolls on human life throughout Europe. Not enough was being done to assist the thousands of people who were attempting to flee the danger of Nazi occupation. Inspired by Reverend Waitstill and Martha Sharp's courageous mission, the Unitarian Service Committee was established in 1940 to continue humanitarian service. Its commissioner was Reverend Charles Rind Joy.
Lisbon was the only open port in Europe, and millions of refugees were pouring in. From his headquarters in Lisbon, Reverend Joy oversaw a secret network of couriers and agents, helping to provide travel documents that would allow those refugees to escape to freedom. But the Unitarian Service Committee was an unknown organization at the time. That put them at a disadvantage. Establishing trust across barriers of language, nationality, and faith could mean life instead of death.
Joy needed an official symbol for the papers issued by the Service Committee. He wrote, "When a document may keep a man out of jail, give him standing with governments and police, it is important that it look important." He asked Hans Deutsch, an Australian refugee artist, to create one. The result was essentially the flaming chalice. As we know it now, and like our faith itself, the flaming chalice symbol has evolved over time.
The chalice, as a two-dimensional drawing, eventually transformed into the object used in worship, thanks to our religious exploration programs. Curricula in the late 70s encouraged children to make chalices in different media. Eventually, those chalices morphed into objects that could be lit. The first documented uses of chalices in the main sanctuary are from Sundays on which the children and youth led worship and demonstrated their practice to the adult congregation.
And Laura, could you help me to light the chalice? Our chalice lighting words also come from Reverend Elizabeth Wynne. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work of telling the truth about oppression, the work of resisting any laws or policies or practices that deny anyone their humanity, the work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine in each other no matter what, the work of creating heaven on earth. To be a UU also means that we're not alone in the work. We are not alone because of our promises to love one another. We are not alone because we are companions on this journey. We grow ourselves into allies, helping one another get free, because none of us is truly free until we are all free. So we begin our third story by remembering that none of us is truly free until we are all free.
In the 1800s, white Unitarians and Universalists had inconsistent responses to what we now recognize as the evil of slavery. The country's bitter divisions grew when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed in 1850. Some Unitarians and Universalists stayed on the sidelines, while the others became avid abolitionists. Unitarian minister Reverend Theodore Parker was an abolitionist, a leading member of the Boston Vigilance Committee, an underground group that helped hundreds of enslaved people find freedom.
In 1854, a 19-year-old enslaved person named Anthony Burns escaped from slavery in Virginia and fled to Boston, where he was arrested and held at the courthouse. A crowd of 5,000 assembled at Boston's Faneuil Hall, where Theodore Parker told them, "I love peace, but there is a means and there is an end. Liberty is the end, and sometimes peace is not the means towards it." Meanwhile, members of Boston's black community were meeting nearby and rushed to the courthouse in an attempt to rescue Burns. Hundreds of white abolitionists ran from Faneuil Hall to help them. An estimated 2,000 anti-slavery protesters mobbed Courthouse Square that Friday night and tried unsuccessfully to free Burns.
The United States was built on a legacy of slavery, racism, and oppression that continues to take new, ever-changing forms. Today, 172 years after the Boston slave riot, Unitarian Universalists bear witness to the system's devaluing of black lives. We commit ourselves to dismantling systems of white supremacy, which is an institutionalized cultural pattern reaching far beyond any single incident or person.
One commitment that we make to one another as members of a covenantal Unitarian Universalist community is to care for one another. We take a moment each Sunday so congregants can share joys, sorrows, concerns, or gratitude. And just as we care for those in our community, we extend our concern and compassion for those in the wider world. And there are many who are suffering or afraid. So we'll begin by lighting a candle for them. And if you'd like to share this morning, please come forward and speak into that microphone over there in front of Bess. And Laura will light a candle for you. If you're on Zoom, please place a message in the chat. And Rob, if you could keep an eye on the chat, and you can let us know if anyone is sharing, and he will read it first. while Laura lights a candle for you. And a gentle reminder, this is not a time for announcements or politics. And if you have to share someone else's story, just make sure that you had their permission to do that. And as people speak, let's listen with attention and hold one another in love. Would anyone like to share this morning?
Good morning. This is on. Oh, yeah, it is. I have a candle of joy from Sue Canals, who is not here today.
So Bess is going to help me here. As our service continues, we're going to respond to some stories by singing, and each time we're going to be changing the pronouns in the song we heard as our prelude, There Is a Love. And it's going to remind us of how our love is directed within and among and beyond ourselves. So all of it is to the same tune that we just heard, There Is a Love. And if you could put up the first slide, that would be great.
Excuse me. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
We remember again that none of us is truly free until we are all free.
In the years before Kansas was admitted to statehood in 1861, there was violent conflict about whether slavery would be legal in this new state. John Brown, who had been born in the territory before the state occurred, was fiercely opposed to slavery. He believed that violence was justified in the righteous cause because white people would never willingly, peacefully put an end to slavery.
In 1857 and again in 1859, John Brown came to Boston to seek financial support from local abolitionists. His strongest and richest supporters came to be known as the Secret Six. 5 of them were Unitarians. 2, Theodore Parker and Thomas Wentworth Higginson, were Unitarian ministers. The Secret Six helped fund and supply John Brown's 1859 raid on the Federal Armory at Harper's Ferry.
We can today see the ways in which the Secret Six were naive in supporting Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry. At the same time, the Secret Six did risk their comfort and privilege to support Brown's armed insurrection that had come to believe, because he had come to believe that nonviolent legislative means of ending slavery had no chance of succeeding. This historical consensus is that Brown's raid, even though it failed, did catalyze the movement towards civil war.
Dismantling oppression is not easy. The systems of white supremacy, sexism, ableism, classism, and homophobia don't want to be changed. They are powerful. They fight back when we attempt to find another way. How far would you go to set other people free? It's your question to answer. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition will not provide the answer for you. Instead, Unitarian Universalism asks us to engage our free and responsible search for truth, for meaning, and for justice as we hold the tension between the world as it is and as we wish it to be.
Some of our stories of Unitarian Universalist justice makers are about how injustice, the diminishment of a person's dignity, inherent worth, and autonomy, impact our most personal choices. We begin our next story by remembering that we make promises to honor love and justice above all else.
Unitarian Universalists believe that freedom includes the right to make decisions about our own bodies. We believe that people who can get pregnant always have the right to make decisions about their own reproductive health. In 1879, the state of Connecticut banned the sale and use of birth control. Under this law, which stood for over 80 years, a woman in Connecticut could not legally purchase any form of birth control. In 1961, Esther Griswold put Connecticut's ban on birth control to the test by opening a birth control clinic in New Haven. This simple act of disobedience resulted in the police shutting down the clinic and arresting Estelle Griswold. Deborah Weiner, a UU religious educator, recalls.
My mother was one of the founders of the Unitarian Society of New Haven. She, along with a bunch of activist Unitarian women, were leaders with Planned Parenthood of New Haven. During the time the clinic was closed, the board determined to continue dispensing birth control. They set up in our basement with the windows cardboarded up. Typewriters set up, boxes of diaphragms and gel and birth control pills everywhere. I was warned not to tell anyone what was going on. I was told that it could result in my mom getting arrested. So I kept quiet and the operation continued. When the Griswold versus Connecticut ruling came down from the Supreme Court in 1965, there was a huge celebration in New Haven. My mother and her friends, who were almost all UUs, were heroes because they carried on even when the police tried to stop birth control from being available.
Our bodies are sacred, no matter how many bodies bear scars from misogyny encoded into law, from violence, from lack of access to medical care. Women's bodies are sacred, and so are the choices offered by reproductive freedom. And if you could put the slide up, Ed, slide number 2. Bess is going to lead us. And you can remain seated. Yeah, that's it.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
We give thanks this morning for all the people here today and for those of you on Zoom. With love at the center, we all care for one another and extend that care into the wider community through actions for equity and justice, which, no matter how small, work towards the transformation of our world.
This fellowship intentionally welcomes the pluralism of theological beliefs as members seek to learn and grow, acknowledging our interdependence as we help each other toward deeper understanding. We give thanks for the spirit of generosity that inspires and encourages. We give thanks by giving to others in return for all that we have received. We give thanks in the depths of our souls as we support the mission of this congregation with our financial contributions, our pledges, and our offerings, contributions that allow this congregation to reach out to all who seek a life-affirming message of love and hope.
So please click on the link in the chat if you're on Zoom to contribute, or you can use your smartphone and find the donate links on our homepage, uufhc.net, and you can do that here. There are two links, one for pledges and one for general offerings. And whatever method of giving you choose, be it basket or button, we thank you for sustaining our loving UU community and in keeping with our religious heritage, drawing that circle of love a little bit wider. Unitarian Universalists know that life comes with hard choices, and we believe that pregnant people can be trusted to make the hard choices, including the decision to terminate a pregnancy.
Even after the Griswold versus Connecticut ruling in 1965, it was difficult for women to get birth control in many areas of the country. It was illegal and often deadly to seek an abortion.
An unlikely group formed to help women obtain safe abortions, the Clergy Consultation Service, an underground network of rabbis and ministers, including UU ministers.
The charge for aiding and abetting an illegal abortion was a $1,000 fine and 1 year in prison. But the Clergy Consultation Service operated out in the open, says one minister, sending the message that we're choosing to defy the law in order to adhere to a higher law.
By 1973, roughly 1,400 clergy members across the country had helped hundreds of thousands of women obtain access to safe abortions. Having clergy take such risks helped change social attitudes about abortion. And the case that became Roe v. Wade started in Texas with encouragement from Unitarian Universalists, especially the Women's Alliance of the First Unitarian Church of Dallas.
Today, we affirm this commitment in the words of Reverend Lisa Sargent. The movements for reproductive rights, for gay and lesbian rights, for civil rights, for immigrant rights, for human rights cannot be separated. Each of them is fundamentally about ensuring that every person has control over their own life. Will you enter again into the spirit of meditation as we sing together the third verse to our song?
There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
shows us again that no one is outside the circle of love and no one is disposable.
In 1982, the CDC created the term AIDS, Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome, to describe an infection that was killing people. As the AIDS epidemic grew to claim the lives of tens of thousands each year, it became clear that AIDS was moving with particular vengeance through the gay community. The response from both secular and religious voices was silence or outright condemnation. Many churches refused to hold funerals for gay men, and their own families would turn away from them.
Unitarian Universalist ministers were among the few clergy who entered the pastoral breach of grieving with and tending to the dying. One of them, Reverend Kim Crawford Harvey, recalls,
I conducted the early memorial services with the clear insight that the first victims of a massive shipwreck were washing ashore, though I couldn't possibly have imagined the magnitude of the loss. Time and again we stood facing the ocean and scattered the ashes of our dead into the wind.
Harvey remembers sitting in silence with a dying parishioner. Listen, he said, breaking the silence, quote, in all this madness, even if it kills every single one of us, and there's no one left to tell the stories, it matters that we love each other well.
We are left to tell the stories. It matters that we continue to love each other well, that we make promises to honor, love, and justice. And please sing again as we remember the love that lives inside each of us and which continues to call us.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
In our final story today, we recognize yet again that none of us is truly free until we are all free.
On Sunday, March 7th, 1965, Alabama state troopers attacked 600 unarmed protesters as they walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge outside Selma, in an attack that became known as Bloody Sunday. The following day, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called on clergy across the nation to come to Selma to witness the brutality and bring national attention to the violence and injustice there. In his call to clergy, Dr. King wrote,
No American is without responsibility. The people of Selma will struggle on for the soul of the nation, but it is fitting that all America help to bear the burden. I call, therefore, on clergy of all faiths, representative of every part of the country, to join me for a minister's march. In this way, all America will testify to the fact that the struggle in Selma is for the survival of democracy everywhere in our land.
The struggle for the survival of democracy continues today. In January, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known by their acronym ICE, came to force in Minneapolis and St. Paul to conduct sweeping raids on Somali Americans and others. They have terrorized the Twin Cities. When faced with nonviolent protesters and observers, they respond with pepper spray, tear gas, and bullets. Renee Good, a beloved community member and mother, was murdered by ICE agents as she followed directions to leave an area where ICE agents were operating. In response to the escalating violence, faith leaders have once again been called to witness.
In 1965, clergy responded to Dr. King's call. Today, clergy are again responding to the call. UU ministers and other religious leaders from across the country have come to Minneapolis to bear witness to the ongoing injustice. As Side with Love writes,
Our faith calls us to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, to side with love, to work with justice. We go to Minneapolis because when our neighbors are under siege, when mothers are dying from fear in their own homes, living our principles demands us to show up. We go to bear witness, to use our bodies and our covenant to say, not here, not in our name.
Not all of us could go to Minneapolis to witness, but our response to all injustice must be as a community, not as individuals. No one of us is powerful enough to fight the oppressions we are experiencing, but together we can respond powerfully. Some of us witnessing in person, others supporting at a distance, all of us answering the call. The Reverend Allie Casey Bell offers us this prayer this morning. Spirit of love and justice, because we know these two must be held together if we are to get where we are going, be with us now in a time when so much is changing, unimaginable, horrific, multiplying by the day. Give us the strength not to turn our heads, but to lift our voices, our bodies, our very selves, to keep bending that moral arc toward thriving, toward equity, toward care for all. Help us examine and act on what we are learning, not only about the world, but about ourselves, about how we shape, echo, and amplify the noise of division. Turn our voices, turn our habits, turn our silence until what once divided us becomes a song of resistance. Settle us out of minds and into our hearts, so we may release whatever it is that keeps us disconnected from one another. We cry out, how long? And we answer back, now, and in the past, and into the future, because justice does not take a break from tyranny. Fascism cannot change the face of compassion. Equity will not surrender to the false comfort of the inequitable. Let us remember that hope has feathers, that it takes wing, and not because it is naive, but because it is present, active, and alive. And let us rest not in complacency, but in truth. We are survivors, we are thrivers, and we will not stop until our work is done. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. And our benediction comes from Reverend Elizabeth Wynne. Unitarian Universalism is for those who have seen the arc bend toward justice and those who doubt it will ever bend. But no, we must organize as if our lives depend on it anyway. Some theologies say that only some people are saved. From those theologies flows a world where people are criminalized for their identities, for being Muslim, transgender, black, undocumented. Our UU theology says we are all saved, and salvation is what we strive to build now for each other. So we resist any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity. We know now that on earth is our chance to create heaven, and we know that love crosses borders and prison walls, lives in queer families and disability justice organizers, thrives among trans young people and working class elders. If you can join me in one last unison response as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this chalice with gratitude for our roots, the ancestors who taught us to be brave in creating a fair and loving world. The flame is now ours, as is their work. We sided with love, we work for justice, and we carry that flame forward. Just wanted to let you know that immediately following the service, we are going to have a very brief coffee hour, and then at noon, the memorial service for Paula Townsend is going to begin in the sanctuary. So I hope you'll stay for that. Thank you. Oh, yes, don't eat the food until noon.
Announcement.
We have some more? Come on up. Okay. If anyone else has an announcement, come on up too.
Is this a good one?
We
Okay.
have multiple mics.
This is the last Sunday to sign up for Circle Brunch or Circle Dinner. We have tons of people for Circle Brunch, which is great. I put another sheet out there because it was filled. And Circle Dinners are also open. And also a reminder that March 7th is our pledge kickoff, Back to the Future. It's going to be a lot of fun, so be there for that. And next Sunday, Glenn and I are doing an Exploring Membership, the first of 3 classes on Exploring Membership for anyone interested in the fellowship.
It's the second Sunday we do it.
That's That's right, we changed the date. Thank you, Glenn. It's actually the second Sunday and the 8th and the 15th. Yeah, so it's 2 weeks from now. Thank you.
That was okay. All right. Hello, my name is Ron. I'm speaking today as one of the Buffalo Trace Society's members, and put out 2 announcements. One, this spring, we are conducting a spring equinox ceremony here on Saturday, 21 March, between the hours of 12:30 to 4 o'clock. Everybody in the community is welcome to attend. And number 2 is Saturday, the 9th of May, we'll have the facility from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock, and we're soliciting for people to consider taking on the role of being Buffalo Trace members, and exploring a membership with that. So it'll be an all-day affair. It will be all the teachers involved. Anyone who's welcome to come, sign up, and I'll have some notices in the bulletins as to whom to call and whom to contact. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Gallagher, coming to you as the Social Justice Chair. In April, Harford County will be welcoming the We Are America March back through Harford County, and we are looking for people who can potentially provide home hospitality. We're about halfway through the 2-week march, and so they said that that was really a highlight last time, is that we were able to find beds for them. So it's April 16th, 17th, and 18th. If you're interested in that or finding out more, come talk to me. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Sandy Gibbons. This coming Saturday, the Handel Choir of Baltimore is going to be doing an absolutely exquisite program of, among other things, late Renaissance, early Baroque German choral music, including Heinrich Schütz's Musikalische Exequien, which is really the first German requiem or the requiem text and thematic set in German. It'll be at an absolutely exquisite venue, the St. Mary's Seminary Chapel in Baltimore. It's at 7:30 on Saturday. So if you need tickets, go to handelchoir.org or see me after the service. Thanks.
I am Paul. Just a quick reminder that our stewardship drive is getting closer. And I just wanted to remind you of that. And we want to think about ways that we can contribute to our church to help us grow. And as Marlene said, on the 7th, we have our big kickoff event coming up. And next Sunday is Inspiration Sunday. So please be thinking about that. It's getting closer.
And speaking of getting closer, the search team, we're very optimistic that within about a month, we're going to conclude our process. So we're finishing up some final interviews, working through everything that we need to at the end, but keep your fingers crossed. In another month or so, we'll have someone to introduce to you.
That's it.